Nikita.
Hi, Fatima.
Welcome.
Happy 2026.
Happy 2026
This
and
is
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We brought in the New Year together.
That's
so it's
true.
like
That's true.
we're
That was
wishing-
new. There's no other way. I think
That's
that's a
true.
pact that we should live as a group. Always bring in the New Year together.
And this is actually our first content piece for the new year for
That's
Acid
right.
Sisters, and I'm
That's
so excited for us to do this. But how have you been? How's the new year treating you?
Because it's been really long since we met.
But we have to do the
We
hello
have
hi.
to do this. We have to do this. I have been great. I think December has been phenomenal. After a very long time, I spent the December in Goa. I think I've been so busy working the last 2
Yeah.
years that I decided to just always go back home and spend it with family. But I think December energy was amazing, and like one amazing crucial thing that has come out this December is that one big learning, I would say, that no matter how your year went, ensure that your December is amazing. Banging. Because all's well that ends well. And
true.
yeah, that's
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I have a small gift for you before
Oh,
we go on
yay.
talking. So I was traveling in Thailand and I got us these fans.
Oh my God,
This
thank
is
you,
for
Nikita.
you.
Oh my God.
And this is a pact that we will make. Yes, Fatima, open the fan. This is the pact we will make.
It's beautiful.
That wherever we travel, we will get each other fans.
I promise. Is there a way to fan promise? Okay, fan promise. I like it.
But this is just like a ode to like
I
Acid
love it.
Sisters.
I
and
love it. It's a beautiful
it's,
piece.
it's just we will always keep getting each other nice fans, and I think I want a wall full of fans by the end of it. You know,
I
like
think
it's
so
it'll be so
too.
pretty,
No,
right?
it's the studio. We should manifest that as a studio dream.
That's true. Like a background full of different fans from around the world.
And a couch
manifesting.
for us to record the podcast.
Yes,
there.
and
I love it.
and just everywhere. We could do it in different places, which brings me to the setup. By the way,
Yes,
this is a new setup.
We are in Goa.
We're in Goa,
Yeah.
which is where we met, and we've already spoken about
Got
how
it.
we met.
Yes, that's
But we're
right.
on the terrace of one of our really close friends, and also the next guest
Yeah.
of the first guest of our Acid Sisters
yeah,
episode,
yes,
Ishita.
that's right.
But this fan has what do you see on this?
Oh, it's a year of horses.
Yes!
The horses. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
So this fan is horses. So this is the year of the horse, the
I
year of
love
the
it.
fire horse, and I love that because it brings so much energy about
Power.
like power and
Yes.
energy about doing something and doing more. Last year was the year for shedding,
Yeah.
and we let go of a lot. So
That is so true.
I think it was phenomenal in so many ways. And when you say shedding, there are so many things
Yeah.
that I actually think I also shed behind, from my ego, from some serious friendships, from a version of me that I thought I would be, which I don't want to be anymore. So shedding has been the real theme for last year in a lot of ways.
You have a new job.
I have a new job. I have a
amazing.
new project that I'm working on. Acid Sisters is something new.
Yes, that's right.
And I think somewhere you have to shed to grow and keep growing. And I think something that Ishita also was mentioning, that these beautiful bougainvilleas here,
Yeah.
for them to grow, you need to chop them off, and only then can they grow more, which
Yeah.
is a definition
I
of
agree.
shedding.
I agree. Even in this book that I read by, that's called Artist's Way, one of the things that the book asks you to do as an artist is to clear out the space. So when you clear out your cupboard, you clear out your wardrobe, you actually create space for new things to come in. And I think that's what shedding really kind of does. It makes space for newer things to grow and come into your life. So I couldn't agree.
Wasn't that
with-
what you were doing the last week? Actually, the first week of 2026, Fatima was
That's
getting
right.
rid of things in the house. Why
I
don't you tell us what
unfollowed
were you doing?
2,000 people on Instagram from everywhere on my social media.
Unfollow those accounts.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yeah.
what else were you doing?
I was cleaning my wardrobe, I was unfollowing people on Instagram, I was writing a lot of content. So I think just like removing people or accounts that I didn't want to follow created space for intentional content consumption. And we've both spoken about this a lot and quite a bit, where you've always said that social media is not your enemy. The way you use social media is your enemy. And I think I took your advice to heart, and I was like, okay, let me be very intentional with how I'm using this platform. And yeah, what about you? How has December been for you? How has the new job been for you, Nikita?
Very interesting, actually. These are what's one of the things that I learned last year and unlearned was the fact that you cannot stick to a particular plan
Yeah.
or a strategy.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So let's deep dive into more. Let's deep dive into more. But you just have to keep going with the flow. And this new opportunity is a startup that I'm working for. And it just kept coming back to me in multiple ways. And honestly, this was not on my bingo cards to quit beauty and personal care and move into consumer tech. But the fact that the opportunity kept coming to me and it was so interesting, I just decided to take the leap of faith. It's a startup. I've never worked in a startup before, but just the team is so passionate. The founders are so passionate. Just to be around such a dynamic
Yes.
environment that pushes you to be better and grow has been one of the biggest learnings for 2025, that you have to be open to change and drastic change. What about you? What did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, no, I completely agree with you. I think a large part of my career I've spent in consumer tech startups, and I feel like just the energy that is there in a consumer tech and the velocity at which they work with. I'm so excited for you and this new chapter that you have. For me as well, I was building a startup. I was building my perfume brand. I was building Ruwaida at the beginning of the year, and things just massively shifted for me by the end of last year. And one of the biggest learnings that came out of me from that is that you can win at life if you know how to adapt. I feel like things can be good, things can be bad, but if you're able to gracefully work with your the difficulties and the curveballs that life throws at you, I think the adaptability that you have is going to take you so very far. I think that also comes to me being the middle child, learning to adapt to situations faster. I think so that has been the biggest learning, that no matter how difficult the situation has been. But speaking more about the startup and like just for all the other fellow creatives out there, like one of the other biggest learnings that have come out of me is this: no matter who you are in business with, always sign the papers.
Do the paperwork,
Do
guys.
the paperwork, guys, no matter what. It's your brother, best friend, your
Husband.
father, husband. Always have the paperwork in place.
That's
so
true.
that has been one of the biggest learnings.
Do you say this from a point of view of ownership or accountability, or just what is it that's so important when it comes to entrepreneurship that maybe people do not focus on because they're so busy building or trying to get that product out there, but these important aspects, like you mentioned, are something that people don't realize are so important?
Yeah, I think especially for creative folks, right? I feel like because these are not subjects that are very natural to us. We are more about, hey, let me sketch, let me build, let me go make the things.
Let me creative.
Let me be creative. That's what I want to be. And I also do think because we find some of these subjects very harder to deal with because they're not familiar, we tend to push them to the side. So I think from an entrepreneurship, if you're a creative who's trying to get into business, either hire someone who can help you understand the paperwork and the legality behind business, even if you're a solo entrepreneur, right? Like get a lot of your paperwork, your trademarks, a lot of those things in place. I also read this quote by one of the very famous founders in the US, and she said, and I quote, that even if it's expensive, make investment to get a good lawyer on board early on in your business, right? It will pay you long term. So yeah, I think.
But what about the people you work with? How does that count as an important factor? Because you build with people, trust, compatibility. I've been recently trying to understand how can I work better with the people that I work with. But especially for entrepreneurs who are building something, how important is it to choose the right partner?
Very important. I feel like Naval has this way of saying that there are three things that are very important in a co-founder that you choose, right? One is that they need to be intelligent, smart. Second is that they need to be hardworking. And third is that they need to have integrity. He also adds that if the person doesn't have integrity, the first two doesn't matter at all. So I think it's very important to do that. A personal learning for myself also is that have difficult conversations early on. Your gut will tell you that something is off. Every work relationship or any relationship will have difficulties, but I think the important aspect is to call it out and to not keep it in.
Have that conversation.
Yeah, have that conversation for the respect for the other person also and for yourself, that, you know, like that's the only way. Having hard conversations and going through hard things together is how you will grow.
And I think this applies to personal life as well. It applies to your friendships, it applies to your relationships, that you have to be able to have those important
Yeah.
and difficult conversations without being hesitant, without reacting, without lashing out. Specifically work, but also personal relationships, also the people you're dating, the people who are close to you, friendships. And something that I learned last year is while I started dating and I gained a very important relationship in my life, I also lost two of my closest friends because of differences. And you grow older and you just somewhere you need to also draw that boundary or have that kind of self-love or integrity for yourself where you decide that this is something that does not serve you in life in every way. Because what happens is, and this is a very common thing I've noticed with a lot of people, is that they carry on and they drag relationships and friendships that are just doing them harm, not helping them in any way, just because of the history that they have with that person. And they're just like, oh, we've been friends for so long.
Sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly, sunk cost fallacy. And it's just draining them, dude. And it's just, both of them are getting nothing out of it. And this is something that I learned last year, to just respect the other person and understand that, okay, if this is not working, you pull yourself out of it and respectfully draw that line and boundary and move on with life. Yes, it hurts, but it's going to hurt even more if you continue that in the long term. And it's a very recurring theme. A lot of people reached out to me online also talking about the fact that they all have these kind of friendships and relationships that they're just dragging or they're suffering because of not letting go. So that point of just letting go and knowing that this is not good for you and just taking that step back and being in that peace is a different kind of peace.
I feel a lot of people kind of, as we grow older and we collect more and more friends and people in our lives, we identify who can stay with us, who are the ones we need to shed. Like, and since it's an experience so personal to you, and then you've gone through this just last year, was there a conversation you had with that friend, or was it like an unspoken understanding that, okay, we don't fit into each other's this season of life, or maybe future doesn't, we don't know the future, but this season of...
It's never an understanding, you know. Unfortunately, people and egos just play out in very different ways that you cannot control the other person. The only thing that you have in control is yourself. And I think you are one of the best people to also mention how you've navigated the challenges last year, and with grace and with patience, and just whatever you could handle was your reaction to it. You know, life will keep happening to you. You can just handle the reaction to it. So it was never a conversation. It was an internal decision where you pull back. And I think we both kind of resonate with this theme in both ways. And I think that is what 2025 was building. And we've built something
I think we've built Asset Sisters. You have a new job. I've started writing online.
She's become she's a new content creator. You guys have to check out all the Substack articles that Fatima is putting out, all the snippets she's putting out. She's on a whole new content creation journey, which is so interesting. And I think you should share more insights as a beginner in this. We are all beginners.
We are all beginners.
This is something that I had also last year, one of the biggest themes which carries forward in this year is becoming, and we will keep talking about this. But last year I had an internal exercise with myself where I kind of tried to confront what is stopping me from putting myself completely out there, because I want to be out there, I want to create content, I want to build a personal brand. And the biggest reason which I came across was the fact that I was too scared to look like I'm failing, because we all have this perception about ourselves that we've built about who we are. And I mean, we're all old enough to have like this particular ego that this is who I am and this is what I'm good at, right? And I was scared that, okay, if I look like I'm failing, or if I look like I'm beginning, it's not going to suit my image. But then the answer to that is the fact that everybody who's good at something started somewhere. Everybody has a day zero, and you cannot compare your day zero with someone else's day 365. And this is your becoming. This is where the magic happens. There's this slope where you're making it to the top, and that journey is where the magic is happening. So that was one of my biggest learnings from last year.
I agree. And how do you reach 10,000 followers without crossing 3,000? There is no way. There is only one linear path. And I think one of the things that you also said last year came in very handy to me, that, you know, just don't overthink your content. Every time I made a typo, because I'm only doing mostly written content, I know I'm telling you also, Nikita, I have a typo, what do I do? And every time I do that, you say that it's okay, just let it be. So just let it go. And I think that advice has really helped me, because for anyone who is beginning on this journey, the only thing you have to promise yourself is to hit publish or to hit post.
Put it out there.
Put it out there. That's it. That's it that you can control. Rest you can't control.
Exactly.
And like just put it out there for the next 30 days. Give yourself the time that I will not take any comment, any reaction, no number of likes.
No judgment.
No judgment.
Nothing.
I will just post. And I think that has been extremely helpful advice for me as well.
I'm glad.
So, yeah.
Because this borrows from the most important preaching of the Gita, right? That you just have to do your karma and forget about the result.
Yeah.
And I saw another creator talk about this on Instagram where she was like, I'm gonna do my bit of posting 3 times a day. I don't care what and how the content is performing. I don't care what engagement is doing. I can only control my bit and everything else is done. You know, and leave the results to the universe in general, just to wherever it goes. And another thing that I would like to leave you with when it comes to social media.
But I think this is not just only true for social media. I think this is true for anything in life. Like, if you want to get better at making art, or if you want to be an artist, show up and make art for 30 days without questioning how bad it is. You will have to make 30 very bad pieces of art to arrive
to
at
get
something.
that one.
Yeah, to get that one. Exactly. And that's how you learn, and that's how you form patterns, and that's how compounding really works. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Another very interesting thing that I learned at the end of last year, which I'm going to embody this year, is the fact that everything that you're doing on social media, particularly because we're putting all of this content out there, it's not with the motivation to gain followers. Follow count doesn't matter. The idea to do this is to put yourself in a position for opportunities to find you.
I think so.
And I don't care if people call this woo-woo, but I believe that the algorithm has mysterious ways.
Nikita, just posting 3 pieces of content has given me leads as clients. So I completely agree with what you are saying. I don't think it's woo-woo at all. Like, I think putting yourself out there opens a lot many opportunities, because there is no other way for people to know and understand how to recognize you and how to pay you.
Exactly.
If you're not out there, then who are you really?
Exactly.
You know?
So don't do it for the followers, don't do it for the cloud. Do it to be in a position where opportunities can find you, which they will, but they will only if you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the point of 2026. And what are you excited about 2026, Fatima? What are you looking forward to?
I think I'm looking forward to writing a lot more. Writing is very new to me, so I'm excited to get better at that. I have always wanted to have a dialogue where I represent Indian design beyond just Indian architecture. I think we have so much great material, product design, so many even great brands and great stories coming out of India, but not a lot of people talking about it in depth. So I'm excited to take that dialogue global, especially like kind of bring this image of India that is very stereotyped in like the kitsch, wedding, Sangeet way. And
the
like
Indian aesthetic that is stereotyped,
the
exactly.
Indian aesthetic that is stereotyped, and I want to show the world the modern India, right? And to have more stories seeped and rooted in modern India. And I think I'm excited to have that dialogue. I'm excited to support brands that are telling those stories and bringing them to the forefront. So that is one thing I'm excited about. Other than that, I'm also excited about a secret project that I'm working on.
Ooh,
hopefully, in
more
the next
details.
more details to come. But I can share one of the secret projects I'm working on, which is
then that's not a secret anymore.
then
but
not
we'll
a
go
secret
for it.
anymore. Okay, yeah. It's called Commonplace Bazaar. It's,
I love that idea. Let's go.
Yes, the project basically kind of brings together products and brands that I personally look up to for the design aesthetic, functionality, and the intention behind the storytelling. So many of my friends in the US, in Canada, in London have reached out to me every time that they come to India. Hey, which brand can I buy from? And so many of us in India rely on just the algorithm to discover these brands.
And the more mass brands that actually put all that money into advertising and they're out there, but all the niche brands are actually waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. Bro, one more time I see a brand on my Instagram where the founder is like, hey, I met this person in the elevator and they told me how much I love the product. I will, oh my God, I will kill someone. I am tired. I think the era of founder-led brands is also over, by the way.
That's true. That is coming to an end.
That is coming to an end. And I mean, I will come back to this point later, but what Commonplace Bazaar really is, it's just a curation. It's kind of like an online concept store where I want to like introduce 5 or 6 brands every month and their products to the world. And I think, yeah, it's just a discovery platform, no intention for affiliates, no intention for money behind it.
A
just
curation.
Just a curation of sorts. So is what I'm working on and building. It's just a personal.
Which basically resonates to what you just said.
Exactly.
You want to represent India in its true sense of
Exactly.
design and
Right.
aesthetic and culture, which is
That's
not
right.
the stereotypical kitsch definition of
That's
Indian
right.
design.
That's
Very
right.
interesting.
Yeah.
We love
Yeah,
that.
thank
Maybe we
you.
can feature a bunch of like brands that you feature, and maybe we can tell their
Yes,
stories
yes.
on Acid Sisters.
So many of them are women founders, actually.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
There you go. We're creating a full funnel, Fatima.
I love it.
One project feeds the other
I
project,
love
which feeds the
it. I
other
love
project.
it.
But I love that. I
Yeah.
love that excitement.
But coming to the point, what is your thought on like this era of founder-led brands coming to an end, since we touched upon it?
I think the reason why founder-led brands became such a big deal was the fact that people wanted an insight into how the brand is built, and who better person than the founder to explain that, right? But somewhere now what is going to happen is, since trends shift and move so fast, now there is a contrary opinion about the fact that you don't need to show everything that is out there, you know. Like somewhere there was a whole trend that we were going to show our success, but we're going to show all our failures, we're going to show everything that's going wrong because people are invested. But honestly, now people are actually just looking for good storytelling, and they're looking for good marketing. Brands, if you see, the most successful brands were the brands that would kind of transport the consumer into another world, and that's why you build a brand world, which is not done through the founder-led content. Founder-led content is just an insight into the brand, but it's not really making the brand aspirational for the consumer. So that is why I feel that aspirational storytelling or creation of a brand world is going to be back again, because somewhere people are getting tired of just the AI and a lot of like digital and artificial intelligence, and they want human touch and something more natural. But at the same time, people are now spending more money on experiences and an overall curation. That's why that curation of the brands that you're doing would be very successful. So I think it's going to be very interesting over the trends that 2026 is going to bring, because it is going to be heavily dominated with AI, but at the same time there's going to be a counter trend of very human, raw, flawed, because already fashion is predicting that for 2026 it's going to be flawed aesthetic. It's going to be hand-drawn lines, scribbles.
Hermes did their website all over again, and it's all hand-drawn illustrations. And I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like founder-led branding works for the founder's profile and the brand. Even in that case, I think like, so I really like what Palak is doing with Ek Banaras, right? She's embodying the brand, she's living the brand, she's wearing the products. So when you look at the founder wearing the products and living the brand, also I do feel the founder and the brand are not two very different personalities.
They shouldn't be.
They
Otherwise,
shouldn't
the
be.
founder shouldn't be selling the brand then in the first place.
Exactly.
But the founder has to sell that world, basically. So the founder-led brands that will do well are the ones that are creating that aspiration, right? Like Deepa Khosla and India Wild as well, because she sells that as aspiration. A lot of international brands with founders who are traveling and selling that world.
Exactly.
So founder-led brands work for certain categories and industries, while for certain categories and industries you have to create a whole different world altogether. But I think
so excited for that creative direction coming back into marketing, and a founder not recording on camera that, hey, I met someone who told me about my product. Oh my God, I'm so excited for this other, because the new Loewe show, the new Chanel show. So I completely agree with you, even when you said about the raw aesthetics, right? I do feel that instead of founder-led, now things are going to be more process-led. Right, where you share.
Exactly. That's what Apple is doing
That's
now.
what Apple is doing now. They're sharing the entire way the installation is put up, right? And they are sharing, even if what they did in the process is not the final result, like just having a very cinematic shot of your behind the scene process is what is
going to get viewers interested.
Exactly.